thank each of them for being here tonight. As the DG of the Association of British Insurers, I do feel, I'm not quite sure what the appropriate description is for what I am in Sandwich, but we've had certainly a very interesting perspective just there from Ian, and I'm sure we're going to get another one in a moment from Alistair. But I'm going to talk about three things. I'm going to talk a little bit about tax, a bit about regulation, and a bit about infrastructure investment. The insurance industry, the UK insurance industry, is the biggest in Europe and the third largest in the world. And in 2010, we contributed 10.4 billion to the exchequer in taxes. We employ more than 290,000 people across the UK, and it is across the UK. Edinburgh, Liverpool, Bristol, Manchester, Leeds. A quarter of financial services jobs, providing vital employment opportunities and, of course, contributing to economic growth. And we are big long-term investors, £1.7 trillion of investments, equivalent to more than a quarter of the UK's total net worth. And we're one of the country's major exporters, with 28% of our business coming from overseas. And I think understanding how we can participate in the very significant continuing growth in emerging markets is one of the questions that we have to be able to answer if we're going to see growth in the domestic UK scene over the next 5 to 10 years. So we are a major contributor to economic growth, and we are committed to building our business further. And of course we welcome the ambitions set out in the government's plan for growth, creating the G20's most competitive tax system, making the UK the best place to start, finance and grow a business, encouraging investment and exports, and creating a more educated workforce that's the most flexible in Europe. But for these ambitions to become a reality, and for businesses to benefit and to spark an economic stimulus, we need to create a business-friendly environment in our tax and regulatory systems. As Michael said, research shows that from 2002, the UK's lost competitiveness to other countries. It's also, that same research highlighted that for the first time in 10 years, in 2011, the UK's effective average tax rate exceeded the average of other G20 countries. We must aim for a competitive and simple corporate tax system that both retains and attracts companies to the UK, backed up by a competitive tax regime for top talent from around the world. The next topical, prevalent and important issue in growth is the UK's and Europe's significant regulatory reform agenda. The ABI supported the government's move to a Twin Peaks system, and we accept that it plays a part in fixing the causes and learning the lessons of the financial crisis. However, there are certain realities that must be borne in mind. This agenda comes at a time when businesses are under unprecedented pressure. In my 30 years in business, the challenges posed by the markets, by European policy making, post-crisis reforms and behaviours are greater than I or my ABI board colleagues have ever encountered. Over-regulation or excessive intervention will, in addition to increasing costs and resource pressures on businesses, fail to help customers and could even make it difficult for them to access the products and services they want and need. We want the move to a Twin Peaks system to work, but it's imperative that it's made clear to firms who's responsible for decisions across the Prudential Regulatory Authority and the Financial Conduct Authority. Duplication or overlap will add unnecessary costs to customers. And we must keep focused on the developing framework, not just within a European context, but actually in a global context. It's important not to forget that there are global pressures too. Europe and its new three supervisory bodies, EIOPA, ESMA and EBA, is increasingly setting the regulatory agenda for UK businesses and their customers. And the UK's voice must not be lost in the noise of Europe. At least one way to ensure that is to make sure that regulatory and government bodies join up with consumer bodies and business groups like the ABI to lobby the European agenda in the best interests of the UK as a whole. Contributing to a joined-up approach in Europe is not the only way we can help with growth, however. The growth agenda is not just the responsibility of government. Insurers can contribute in a variety of ways, including through the Green Investment Bank. Designed properly, it can help the UK meet its significant infrastructure needs and help build a more sustainable economy, while the fiscal situation restricts the ability of state finances to do this. Insurers are well placed to invest more widely in infrastructure projects, provided the government structure the products to make them attractive to the bond market. In a less direct way, the ABI also provides guidance around good governance, and good governance in businesses means successful businesses, successfully performing businesses will generate more and stronger economic growth. Now, of course, that growth is not just an end in itself. Without growth, there will be less for future generations to fund some of the greatest challenges facing the UK, and particularly affecting the industry I represent. These challenges include fairer funding for long-term care, pensions and health, the cost of which are significantly going to rise in the years to come. We can all agree that strong, sustainable and balanced growth is essential to our future well-being as a country. While we focus on the immediacy of issues such as tax, regulatory reform and managing our way through the Eurozone crisis, we must do so while keeping in mind the need to cater to the longer-term challenges so that we can deliver long-term value.